Okay, let's continue on with item 4. Individual delegation wishes to address the board.
Mr. E.W. Bowens.
Bowens,
Hey,
welcome back. Good to see you.
you ready for me?
Yes, sir.
I'm ready to come back. Again, I ain't heard nothing since the last meeting. We had a bunch of water since the last meeting. And this thing is getting worse all over the community down there. And Greg don't know nothing to tell me. All that stuff he's telling me, I heard 4 years ago, in 2014.
We did meet then, yes, sir.
Well, let me say first, I apologize no one got back to you. That's our fault. That's on us. But if you'll give us to the January meeting, somebody will get back to you. I promise you this time. And if they don't help you, you come back in January. And we might start paying you gas.
I know I'm gonna start,
You
I'm
come
gonna get
back.
my dang motel room and stay down here, cause hell, I can't use the bathroom home.
I mean, I don't want to tell you, I thought the direction was pretty clear, but evidently we dropped the ball. So I have to apologize, I'm sorry. You give us one more chance to try to make it right.
Well, there's a bunch of people that's being displaced from their homes behind this mess right now. And it don't make no sense. I hear you saying, I'm sorry. I know that you feel that you let us down. But we feel that you let us down. And you still want that tax dollar. In a few days, if we don't pay our taxes, you're gonna start charging us interest. Now it's time somebody to get the ball rolling. Greg talking about the federal government, BMAP, but BMAP ain't gotta do nothing. They done proved that to us. It's time for the Bladen County commissioners to get on the ball.
Mr. Warren, what happened on the, he said the contract be led this month.
Well,
What's he saying?
I haven't heard if that's been let or not. I did want to share with the benefit of the board that, I don't want Mr. Bowen to think his concern has been ignored. Mr. Elkins has talked with Dean Morris, the Soil and Water District Conservation Director, and reached out to Mr. Butch Adams, who is the director or regional supervisor with the APHIS program, which is the Beaver Management Assistance Program, to schedule a meeting with you and others. So I don't want you to think your concern has been ignored, because it certainly has not.
Butch Adams has been on board, like I say, with Dean and everybody since 2014. Like I said before, the commissioners went on record in 2006 saying that they knew they had a problem with the beavers and ain't done nothing.
Mr. Bowen, how many residents have been impacted by,
Huh?
how many residents have been impacted by this situation?
There's a bunch. It's probably 150 people
Yeah,
being impacted behind it.
and it's a county issue. There's a lot of people who've got vehicle problems. It's more than 150 people.
Well, there's more than 150 people all over the county, but you have done some work up in Bladenburg. You've done a bunch of work in Bladenburg.
That's correct.
Around Beavers?
Yeah, open canals and ditches.
Oh, yeah, but they're snagging and,
Like I say, they come in there in the 90s and they went down to their cabin, beaver, cutting trees out, the limbs, and throw them right in the creek and kept rolling. And there was another thing I didn't understand. I asked Greg a while ago. Dean Morris said that they had put out bids and hadn't got them back in. Do we send bids out to who we want to send them out, or do we ask for bids?
He has a contractor's list. He's got a contractor's list that he sends them out to.
And then it's advertised.
It's
also
advertised.
advertised in the Bladen Journal and I guess Bladen Online.
But I thought he was supposed to be back this month. He don't get back. No? We don't have to, do you have an idea when it's supposed to come in?
One at a time, please.
Y'all know? Okay. Can
Ms.
you let me know
Caldwell?
tomorrow?
The question I asked, do the water soil conservation with the federal government, do they have any say in how this is handled as far as drainage and water with that type of thing? Okay, where would funds be, you say the beat thing don't work, you referring to? BMAC.
That's the federal program.
Where would funds be, where could the county look to assess funds to try and alleviate this problem? Is there any funds available? Have we researched any federal agencies or trying to figure out
If it
any
was-
type of fund?
If you want me to speak.
No,
Okay.
I'm just asking, are there any funds in place that we can seek?
Mr. Bowens, if you will, just give us a little time, I guarantee we'll get some answers.
Okay, but we need something besides answers.
Well, I know, but we gotta start with answers.
Let me tell you something else too. The state, as I said the other night, the state ain't doing their job. They go down, they turning that water in on us right on too. Opening the ditches and that water going in the creeks. Right now up on the 87 highway down there, there's a little dam up under the highway. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir.
See you next month.
Anyone else with Ms. Murray? Matters of interest to commissioners,
Mr. Chairman, I have one thing.
okay?
Got a couple questions. Mr. Martin, when did they do this Homeland Security? When did they do that audit over there at the Board of Elections?
I'm not sure, Mr. Bullock, the results were submitted to us on November 7th. Yes, sir.
And,
It didn't have any date or anything like that on it.
and it took quite a while for you to release it to us. What was that?
Well, it was, that was really not by intention. We were working on the main issue that was identified that really related to the county was the closed caption television video cameras. That was one of the main issues that, if you'll notice, it showed up on several of the items. And that had already been ordered, and the wiring is being completed. It should be installed, if not this week, within the next couple of weeks.
So right now, the only thing that we've done over there for security is the cameras. None of the
No,
other
sir,
items?
several of the door locks have been changed as they requested. A door has been installed to kind of stop people from having a tendency to walk back into offices without, folks being notified or whatever. So there've been several items have been addressed.
I think you mentioned something about relocating the VA office. Have we looked for space for that?
That has not happened, but that certainly is something that has been discussed.
Well, basically, we're looking at security really, we want that, listening to what they're saying there.
Right.
I know some of these items on this check sheet here have been identified. Did you do that? Some of them had check marks on
I
them.
saw that. No, that was the way it came on the email. We forwarded you exactly what we received.
Anything else, Mr. Bullock?
One thing, do you think if we had gone on and fully implemented the security over there, we wouldn't be the highlight of the news media now? If we had gone on and got all that done?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know enough about the issues to understand how that directly relates to the issues addressed in that Homeland Security report. That again just came to us on November 7th, which was after the election.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
When you talk about space, don't we have space in the courthouse, in this building for them?
There possibly could be, yes, ma'am.
So, but who make that decision?
They can't, I mean, that's something we'll certainly give full consideration to.
So what do we need to, what does the chair need to do then?
I don't know. I mean, I'll be glad to talk with them about it and we can bring it back to the board. Oh, certainly. Yes, ma'am.
Scott,
The only question I got is that I had knowledge of that report was being done back a while back. I knew they were doing it. And my thing is, I would like for the chairman, if he would please, maybe find out how information should flow from that department to us, because from my understanding, they had it for a while. And I'm just wanting to make sure they have an understanding of something of that nature of Homeland Security, that it should flow to all the commissioners where we could see it, because that was, all those things are things that we have to fulfill, not the board of elections. And I would like for the chairman, if you could, just meet with whoever's gonna be in charge of that part, and let's put together some type of a flow plan as to how the information comes from one department to the next, and how we receive it, because people are asking me about it, and I'm saying, I knew about it, but I never seen the report. And the other thing is, it's a very extensive report. And I looked at some of the things I got to reading, and it's kind of, in a couple of days, it was kind of hard for me to comprehend everything that was on there. And I'm just saying that I would like for this board to sit down as a body and review that Homeland Security report, Mr. Chairman, so we can look at what options we do have, and let all of us come together and take a look at it, as if it's feasible or not feasible, is it reasonable or not reasonable. Because right now, I'm leaving with one perspective on how it goes, but somebody might have another one. I think we need to come together as a board and look at what's being presented to us from Homeland Security. I would really appreciate it if we could maybe set up some little meeting, little board, or however you want to do it, Mr. Chair, but something just to revisit this and look at what needs to be done, because it looks like another election getting ready to come up. If it comes up, then we're gonna have to contend with, are these things done? That's all I'm asking. If we could just kind of get together, take a look at it, see what needs to be done. That's all.
Oh, Lord, where do I start? You know, at one time, there was 5 different departments over in that building. You had the EMS, you had the GIS, you had the veterans, you had everybody. And there never have been an issue to right now. What we need to do is get the Board of Elections to come to the county commissioners and tell us how that stuff is locked up and sealed, and who can get to it and who can't get to it. That's what we need to do before we spend any money. And I, as chairman, I'll be certainly glad to bring people here to talk about it and do whatever. I think this Board of Education needs to, Board of Commissioners, this Board of Commissioners need to be the one that make the decision where we take money out of a budget line item to fix anything before we do that. And you really need to consider the veterans because of the access to that building and stuff versus the veterans putting in the courthouse. And there's a lot of things we really need to talk about before we start spending county dollars to do something what one guy wants done.
Well, that's what I was suggesting, that we sit
Because that was
down.
a one guy show.
That's what I was suggesting, that we come together with some kind of
I don't have a problem with
plan,
that.
as how we gonna handle the situation.
I don't have a problem with that.
Well, the veterans don't have to move. I think that part could be separate from the board of elections, so it's not like veterans suffer.
But that was the recommendation to move the veterans off.
I have another.
Yes, ma'am.
I have a question. A couple months ago, we talked about the courthouse after the hurricane, the mold issue.
Yes,
Had that been resolved?
Yes,
Had
ma'am.
been cleaned?
Oh, yes,
New
ma'am.
windows, or I thought the windows were a problem because they seep moisture in?
That
Has
is,
been resolved?
look, I'll kind of break it down into 2 aspects of the process. The first was the immediate remediation efforts, that focused on a couple of rooms that had higher than average or higher than normal mold detected. One was the district courtroom, for example. There were extensive remediation efforts and, cleaning in the ceilings and that type of thing. And, moisture was removed from the room, and the subsequent test revealed that it was fine. And so, that information was shared with Judge Ussery, the chief district court judge, and, so he's fine. The court is resumed in that building, or in that space. The larger issue, or the more long-term issue that's gonna, take more time, is that on the northeast corner of the building, there was water intrusion into the walls, the brick into the brick, and subsequently into the walls. And so efforts have been made to try to pull that moisture out. However, it's gonna need more extensive work. We're gonna have to tear out some of the wall material and do more work that's more long-term in nature. And so that Mr. Kip McCleary is working with a consultant on that. So that should be coming to the board in the not too distant future.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Anyone else? I have one, and I know it's probably gonna be, a lengthy discussion, so if you would please raise your hand, and I'll recognize you, and you can say whatever you want to, and talk all night if you want to, but we need to have some order in this. What I want to present to this Board of Commissioners tonight is election certification. Due to the widely publicized concerns related to the possible inappropriate political activities in 2018 election process in North Carolina 9th Congressional District election, the State Board of Election has not yet certified that election of two local elections in Blaine County, including District 3 Blaine County Board of Commissioners and Soil and Water seat. However, following the election in November, the Blaine County Board of Elections certified the results of 2018 general election, including the 9th district. And there was no protest filed in Blaine County by any candidate or any elected official. Due to the possibility of a prolonged process to resolve this matter, there is a real concern that citizens of Blaine County and other counties in the 9th Congressional District will not be represented when Congress convenes in January. Therefore, in order to ensure representation, I encourage the Board of Commissioners to strongly consider adopting a proposed resolution requesting the State Board of Elections to immediately certify the results of the Blaine County election, including the 9th Congressional District, just as the results have been certified by every county board of elections within the 9th district. I want to make it very clear, this is what you really need to listen to right now. I want to make it very clear that the intent of this proposed resolution is not to impede in any way the ongoing investigation by the State Board of Elections. The process needs to continue. The purpose is to ensure congressional representation for the citizens of Blaine County in the 9th Congressional District. And another reason I didn't put on here, but you know, we just went through a hurricane and we got FEMA all over county. We're trying to look at the dike, we're trying to look at the water, how to divert the water in Blaineboro, and there's a good chance we won't have nobody to call to represent us in the 9th Congressional District. But this does not impede with an investigation of the State Board of Elections. So I'll read the resolution and then I'll open the floor up for any comments. Requesting the North Carolina State Board of Elections to certify results of the 9th District of the North Carolina Congressional Election and other uncertain certified Blaine County elections. Whereas the Blaine County, North Carolina Board of Elections has certified the results of the 2018 general elections, and whereas the North Carolina State Board of Elections has refused to certify the results for the 9th District Congressional election, as well as 2 local elections in Blaine County. Whereas the action of North Carolina State Board of Elections is harming the citizens of Blaine County, North Carolina, due to the uncertainty of representation in the United States House of Representatives in the 116th Congress beginning January 3rd. Whereas there's additional uncertainty related to the North Carolina State Board of Elections delay in certain elections for District 3 Board of County Commissioner seat and Soil and Water. Now therefore be it resolved that the Blaine County Board of Commissioners hereby request the North Carolina State Board of Elections to immediately certify the results of the 9th District of North Carolina Congressional election, the District 3 Board of County Commissioner election, as well as Senate Soil and Water. And this is where you need to listen again. Be it further resolved that the intent of this request is not to impede any ongoing investigation related to improper political activities. Now I'll open the floor up for any discussion. Mr. Cardell.
On this, the only concern I have is we doing a resolution and the intent to me, from what I'm reading, is to supersede the opinion and the North Carolina legislative branch, the governor's office, the state board of election and ethics committee. We are trying to supersede their authority here at the local level. to place and take over the authority to do something that only that board can approve. That's their choice. They made this decision. They decided not to certify the election for reasons of ongoing investigation. The legislators have agreed that they can proceed with what's going on and extended the times, have done everything they have asked for this election to carry for the results to come in. I know we got a person sitting here, some local people who did not get their certifications. And we don't know the full reason why the investigation has not been determined at this point in time. And for us to come in now and start determining who's going to take an office and fill a seat without having all the facts, all the justification for this, to me, it seems to be if we do it at this particular time, and they come in and say that they cannot certify this individual or these individuals, it's been a complete waste of time for us to submit something like this to supersede the authority of an executive branch of the government. I know it's at the local level, but this to me seems to be a little bit far-fetched. I don't have a problem with who wins, but why would we take over jurisdiction over the state and feel that we can sit here in Bladen County and we can call election on a whole complete 9th district with 8 counties? Why do we feel we should have that authority? That's what I'm saying. Why should we push that?
We're not trying to supersede anyone. We're
Well, we
asking
don't.
them to certify the election so that Blaine County will have some representation in the United States Congress House and in the 116th House. So we'll have representation.
Right.
We're not asking them to do anything other than certify.
Mr. P, one last question before I break away, I'll let somebody talk. In this that you're presenting to us, no names are on here. Who are you suggesting that we let fill these slots? Who?
I'm suggesting we certify the election as the
And-
people have voted.
But who names need to go on there? If we're gonna do that, we might as well put names on there. If we that concerned about it. Why not put the names on?
I can put the names on.
Well, but to me, I'm saying if you're gonna do it, then why not put the
Everybody
names on?
knows who the names are.
Yeah,
It's
so-
Mark Ayers,
Well,
it's
we-
Russell Priest, and it's Earl Storms.
But so we making the decision on those.
It's on here, it talks
individuals.
about the third committee, the third district.
I understand, but what I'm saying is, we're saying, even though it's not a clear count, things are still questionable, we don't specify who should have these slots. That seems to me to be a little bit far-fetched.
Well, you know,
Mr. Chairman.
let me just respond, and then I'll include you, Mr. Bullock. There's not the 3 seats in the whole state of North Carolina that's not certified. One of them is the 9th Congressional District, the House. One of them is Mr. Priest's seat, and one of them is Earl Storm's still in work. The local board of elections certified those races. No protest, no nothing. When it got to the state level, Malcolm put a stop to it. Mr. Bullock.
The only question I have, when does Pittsburgh's term ends if no one is certified?
It's ended as of now, as they meet the last session in December, whenever that is.
I'm not sure.
Whenever
Even if no one is certified?
No, he's through. So,
So you don't know, no one's gonna take that.
no, it's empty.
So Mr. Priest will come in.
It's different on the local level.
Mr. Chairman? One question, another question, sir.
Okay.
You said we were harming the citizen, how are we doing that?
We don't have no representation in Washington for a potential year.
So you think it'll be a year before they go through the?
If they do the primary, if they do what they're saying, they're gonna let people, they're gonna open it up for people to refile.
Okay.
Then you gotta do a primary. If it's close enough, you gotta do a runoff. And after that, you got to do a general election. It will be a year before our seat is seated if they don't seat them.
So what bearing would this have on that?
We're asking them to seat the guy that won.
But we don't know.
Yes, ma'am. Mr. Gooden, I'm sorry.
Yes,
You're right.
that's right.
Me, Mr. Chairman, motion to approve.
Oh, no, I'm still questioning.
All right, we got discussion. We got discussion, motion by Mr. Gooden to approve the resolution. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Dallas. Discussion.
My
Mr.
point,
Doctor. Go ahead, Doctor.
you're saying that you certifying for the person who won, but according to the North Carolina State Board of Election, they don't know who won.
And then who
So
won?
you assume it. No, they are thinking he won. They announced it, but his opponent, I think he went back and said he's not conceding. So until that is done, we can't sit here at this level and say that he won. Because if that's the case, we still have questions about our process of election here in Blaine County.
Mr. Britt.
Let me make a comment here. 16 years I served on the Board of Election. And there's so many gray lines at the state level when it comes to what's right and what's wrong, what is and what is not. I have faced those before, and they have been proven wrong before. So I'm not saying they're wrong or what right, but I'm saying there's some questions about what has been done, and especially pertaining to HAVA Act and some other things that I'm familiar with for 16 years. And I can't wait to see the outcome for some of the things and some of the people's personal stuff that's been aired out, and that's totally against the HAVA Act. And so I personally am sitting in the wings to see how it all shuffles down, because I don't think a lot of people have paid enough attention on the state level to some of the things that has been done since things have moved at a rapid pace. And I say that with all due concern, and I've been in it before, and the state investigator had been corrected in front of the district attorney, and I was right and he was wrong. So I say that in a matter of concern, that allow your process to continue on, but I don't know yet why my time on the board and the thing that I've observed, why it was not already certified. Just like any other election, if you have investigation concern, your investigation continue to go on, because they got things from 2010 that we've never had answers for, and you question how hard they're working on it, and this, that, and the other, and 14 and 16, so this has probably opened a whole lot of stuff that we're gonna probably be seeing coming down the pipe from what I'm hearing. But I just say that they're not always right. And,
Wait, just a minute, please. Okay, Ms. Cooper.
Okay, so this was brought up to my attention today, this, the possibility of us voting on a resolution. And personally, I don't like to make any kind of decision, especially one that's not just affecting myself, hastily. I've spent the majority of the day looking at news articles I've already read, watching videos, talking to people who respect and admire, some of which are sitting here tonight. But I personally, and again, this is not a Republican issue, this is a Democratic issue, this is a county, a state issue that we're all facing. I personally do not feel like it's wise for us to vote on a resolution without hearing from the state all the information that is coming together between now and the public hearing, which is held on the 11th of January. That doesn't mean that I wouldn't vote for it later, but without knowing the information, I feel like it would be unwise as a county to do this resolution. That's my personal opinion, but that's how I like to base most of my decisions. It's not just what feels good to me at this moment, but collecting all the information that I need to make an educated and productive cast of my vote, which is what I've been elected to do. And I was voted in by Democrats as well as Republicans, and I represent a county, not myself, exclusively. I pay taxes here, so I vote for myself too, but this is something that has a lot of light, has been shown, even to myself today, unknowingly. And I'm shocked, And I just, again, on this issue, I really just don't think it'd be wise, and it's nothing personal against anybody, Russell. I mean, I enjoy serving on the board with you, but it's just not what, I can't vote for it.
Can I say something?
My comment, Ms. Trigger, thank you for saying, I was not privy to this information until one little comment.
I apologize, I've been busy today, I called who I could, I spent a couple hours with Dr. Taylor, my day run away from me, it's my fault.
And I have a problem when we get something this important put in front of me this morning, now, tonight, to vote on, and I think it's unfair for anyone to vote on that way.
But the thing I want,
All right,
And thank you.
thank you.
can I say one thing?
Yes, sir.
The only thing, the reason I made the comment that I made in regards to, it's just like Ms. Cricket was indicating certain things, and I'm listening to what's going on, and this is something that needs to be defined in this county. There's so many accusations and things been said about individuals and people. This stuff needs to be cleared once and for all. We don't need to start circulating and passing judgment on who's right and who's wrong at this particular time. And we talking about having representation in the U.S. House of Representatives. They have already indicated to us, not hidden, not put it aside, that until these issues are resolved, you can send who you want to send. They are not going to see them.
They are.
The House has been said that. They said they are not going to seat them until the State Board of Elections said this issue is resolved. They won't do it. They've been saying, the Democrats, that it sounds they're gonna have them close the House.
Whatever.
And I'm saying, why should we put ourselves in that predicament at this given time? And I'm quite sure, if they decide that we need representation, they can appoint someone to handle District 9 and take care of what's needed in Bladen County. We're gonna be sitting up here with 200, 300, a 500,000 people without representation. That's not gonna happen.
Mr. Britt?
Let me share this right here, and I see where this is going, and if you don't air something, I'll go ahead and tell it like it is. It seems like the perception is you're switching it just to give Mr. Harris an edge. That's not the case. The investigation still goes on. If you wait till January, you took any fairness out of it because all the House and everything's gonna change. So then Mr. Harris don't have a chance because they can do it then as they choose. So let's be fair. If we're gonna say that, the investigation can go on if you make a resolution. There's other counties tonight doing exactly what we're discussing doing here tonight, not just Bladen County. But in all fairness to each person, if you have a resolution, we got somebody in. But if you wait to January, it's one total site. So I speak that as a fact and the truth, and there again, serving on the board a long time, it's over. So in fairness, you have a resolution, and then let it shake from there. My suggestion, Chairman, take it up.
Then, Mr. Chair, if that's the case, then, what Mr. Britt saying then, why do we not do the certification or certify the people in office now so that we would not be embarrassed if something happens different in next year?
You
Because you don't know.
cannot certify Robert Pittenger in that seat.
Then that's fine, then that's what I'm saying,
Well,
we
that's
shouldn't do
what
Harris
that's
either.
your question.
Well, then we can't do
Harris
Harris
is
either.
officially the elected representation of District 9.
He was.
Until they prove something, he is the one that got the most votes. He is the elected representative of District 9, whether you like it or not.
Okay, so why don't we separate the local people and certify them and not,
We already certified, look, we certified District 3, Soil and Water, and the Blaine County Board of Elections has certified the 9th conditional seat.
Russell,
excuse me?
Russell, on this resolution right here,
Yeah.
would you want this board to certify you and take care of you
We're,
and our county people, or will you be concerned about Monterey?
Everybody.
that is totally misleading. We are not certifying anything. We're sent, and we're fixing to vote. You can vote it up or down, and we're gonna move on because we're spinning our wheels.
Well, I thought we had the right to discuss.
We have discussed, but if you got something new, I'll listen. But we are not asked, I'm not gonna let a commissioner ask another commissioner
Well,
a
you can ask
question.
you.
He can ask me. But we are not asking the state board of election, we are not certifying nothing. We're asking them to consider certifying our 3 races. That's all we're doing.
What about you say no? That's what you're not doing. You're not, it says here, request the North Carolina State Board of Elections to certify the results of the 19th district. So what are we doing then?
That's what I just said. There's 3 seats involved. You read it, you want me to read it again to you?
No, I'm reading, I'm done talking.
There's 3 seats that we're asking the state to certify and continue on with their investigation. This thing right here says, I will make it very clear, the intent of this proposed resolution is not to impede in any way the ongoing investigation by the State Board of Elections. That process needs to continue. All we want to do is certify so we have representation in Washington DC, and then let the state do their due process, and then whatever comes out of that, that's what we have to live with. Anything new you want to add?
What?
Anything new?
This is new. This is new. I was talking with some attorneys, and they was using the scenario that you cannot change rules and procedures in one election to address another election. And how can we, once you certify into an election, they said that at that point in time, if we if they go in, we give him a resolution, and what the state board of elections is up against, from what I heard the legal guys, and I ain't a lawyer, and there goes Alan sitting there, you get into the gray area that if you certify someone, then for you to go back and change that, that's nearly practically impossible to do. Unless, unless you just go in there and charge him with mail fees or something of his due. Why would we want to go through all that?
We need representation for this county in the House of Representatives and the United States House. All in favor, raise.
Mr. Chairman, how is this gonna influence representation?
We don't have any representation if there's a new election.
How is this gonna influence that?
If they certify the election, we'll have representation.
Yeah, I understand that, but what force would this have?
If the state board of election was to accept our resolution
Right.
and accept Union counties and all these other counties, and they would take it under advisement, and they say, okay, we'll certify the election, but we're gonna continue our investigation. That would give us representation in Washington DC. All in favor, raise your right hand. 5. All opposed? Resolution passes.
Look at this, I want to stipulate, I want to ask the attorney one thing, Mr. Chairman. With this
We'll take a
resolution,
5-minute recess.
with this resolution coming in, wait a minute now,
I ain't recognizing, I
I
know.
don't want my name on this resolution. I don't know how you gonna do it.